I'm George Osborne, and I'm at the App Promotion Summit Berlin with Simon from Adjust. Simon, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
That's good to hear. So what's Adjust all about?
So Adjust is let's say, a business intelligence platform for mobile apps. Primarily what we provide is an attribution between the original user acquisition campaign and the user engagement in-app, being able to segment by original campaign or original source exactly how people behave later on.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to make this try and sound rude, but there's a lot of companies that do something similar
There's
like
a couple.
this. There's a couple. What is it about Adjust that you think makes you stand out?
One large thing is that we are the only attribution analytics outfit out of Germany, and primarily one of very few European ones. This means that we have a slightly different way of looking at the way we do our engineering, looking at the way that we protect our users' data. So one thing is that we definitely focus on being in compliance with all the standing privacy legislation in the world. And on the other hand, we look at making sure that our technology is transparent, understandable, that the KPIs make sense and that they're solid, and sort of helping our clients to understand what's actually going on and making sure that they understand that they are in compliance with all the standing legislation.
Yeah, and why do you think this is really important for companies to do? Because there's other analytics networks out there who maybe don't treat it with that kind of level of importance. I mean, why is it the case that you really think this matters?
Well, if you start doing mobile app analytics, right, you're tracking a lot of sensitive data from a lot of people about what they're doing every day, where they are, what they're looking at, and that sort of thing. And this in itself may not feel like sensitive data, but the standing legislation is that this is something that you need to safeguard very closely. This does not lend itself to placing up in a cloud somewhere or forgetting about it. You do need to think about how do you store this data, what do you store a long period of time, what do you delete after a while, and primarily where geographically do you place this data. In the wrong locale, you may be in the wrong legislative scene. A lot of questions like that come up from our clients. And since we work for a number of very large German enterprises that are very big on this kind of questions, this is something that's really sort of characterized the way we do things.
Yeah, legislation seems to be becoming a bit of a hot topic across the industry because there's been a lot of developments within, say, in-app purchases in the EU trying to come up with sort of consumer guidelines for that. Do you think it makes more sense for companies to start taking it seriously now rather than waiting for these legislation to come in, I guess?
I think you definitely should be aware of where your data is going and what you're doing with it. This is crucial. And if you have a good partner, I'm not saying that we're necessarily the only ones that know what we're doing, but if you have a good partner that you can trust, then you don't have to worry about it yourself. Then they will worry about compliance for you.
Okay, well, exactly. That sounds like a brilliant thing. But just as one last question,
sure.
We've had a lot of great talks here today at the App Promotion Summit. Has there been anything that you've particularly picked out that you thought was really interesting to learn about?
Well, honestly speaking, the guys at Levu, they're doing incredible growth rates. I mean, going from something like 6 million users last year to 19 million this year is pretty insane. And the work that they're doing on, being at the forefront of our targeting, being at the forefront of the new emerging technologies for doing these kind of user acquisition campaigns, that's something that I would definitely watch out for.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that, and thanks very much for joining us.
Cheers.